Okay. Come on in, everyone. Come on in. Blessings, everyone. Blessings. Thank you so much for coming. Blessings, everyone. It's your girl, Yapah Judah. Thank you so much for joining today's live. We are recording, so I just want you guys to know that we are recording today's live podcast episode. It's season 2, episode 4 of Evolving with Yapah Judah. And if you just give me this few little minutes, I got to do my hum because that helps to relax me, right? So here I go. La da 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 dum. La da 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 da. Hey, we have a special guest today on the podcast with me. Her name is Pat Weatherspoon-Hall, and she is the owner of Genesis Rejuvenation Center. So I want her to take over this mic right quick and, tell us a little bit about herself. So, Pat?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me on, Yapah. And I am a life coach. I'm a life coach trainer and author, entrepreneur of Genesis Rejuvenation Center. And what I do is I encourage women to walk in their truth and live in their purpose, embarking on their journey of self-discovery. And so that is my ministry and that is my purpose. So I'm going to roll it back over to you.
All praises for that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So today's topic is stress and how to deal with it. So that's, our conversation for today, because, we all deal with stress in some form or fashion. So right. I don't know if you all were able to download the booklet from her website at genesisrejuvenationcenter.org, the stress booklet. And so we're going to go over some tidbits in that booklet. And if you weren't able to download it, you'll have an opportunity to do it after the podcast.
Right.
So Pat, let's get started with the stress.
All righty.
Stress.
Well, I am what they say, the poster child for the massage therapist. When they see me, they see my neck first because it's so tensed up. And they're always asking me, you are, telling me you're stressed. I'm like, I know, that's why I'm here. But stress. So, of course, we are still dealing with COVID-19. And in 2020, at the end of 2019, I had everything going. My ministry was going well. I had all of my events scheduled. And then, of course, COVID hit.
Correct.
But the first quarter of 2020, everything was going well. My guests were on and all of that. Mm-hmm. In March of that year, of course, everything shut down. But for me, being during the daytime an essential worker, I was not on shutdown. I went in survival mode. So right. Helping people during the day have the essentials that they needed was my day job, and then also trying to coach people at night. Mm-hmm. But so I went on survival mode. Does anybody know what that is? You just keep going with the motion.
Exactly.
So, right. So during the middle of that year, things kept progressing, and I realized that I was still going through the motions. But by the end of the year, I realized that I was being drained, and I kept going and going and going. So by 2021, we're still living into COVID. And in March, my father passed away. And I kept going and going, and then other things kept happening. And by the end of 2021, I realized that I needed some help. I needed some detoxing. I needed something. And I knew that it was a lot of stress built up. So what is stress? Can anybody relate? What do you think stress is?
If someone wants to respond,
An overwhelming feeling.
Yes.
A large
Overwhelming
amount of
feeling.
pressure
yes.
in your mind, on your heart, on your
Right.
spirit.
Right. And so what I did was I realized that I had not taken a break at all.
Mm-hmm.
Going through grief and going through everything that was going on, I realized that I hadn't taken a break. So I took the end of November and December and took vacation time to rest, time to grieve, time to just, take care of me. And it was the best decision I ever made for that time. This year has been rolling along very well. But what is stress? Stress is our body's reaction to a harmful situation or something we perceive to be a threat to our being. And so we've talked about that. Kendra, you've said something about that as well. Yapah, do you have anything to add?
Stress for me is when I feel like I can't breathe. When something is so overwhelming for me that stress turns into extreme anxiety, and then it turns into depression.
Right.
So for me, I have to do certain things to help relax myself, to help calm down everything.
And you said something that's really key, that stress turns into also anxiety, but also depression. And I realized that with everything that had gone on, and because I hadn't dealt with it, I just kept rolling with the punches. The depression was setting in.
Right.
And, what depression does to your body, it's physical as well as mental. Okay. Does anyone else deal with stress, or have you dealt with depression? Are any of these symptoms resonating with you? Okay. Okay. Now, how I also define stress, I have a little acronym here, and it's stolen time, relinquishing energy, spirit, and substance. So stolen time, for me, I realized that stress is a thief. It was taking away joy, my sense of security. So it was stealing things from me. Stress is a time depleter. It takes away valuable time that you cannot get back. That time is gone, and you need to move on. So it's a time depleter. Stress is a relinquisher. It makes you relinquish things you never thought you would. Stress is a drainer. It drains you of your energy. And I had no energy left to give anybody, let alone myself. So stress takes away your spirit and impedes on your inner being, your most inner being. The stress takes away from that. And it robs you of substance, of your temperament, your personality, and your character.
Exactly.
So I've just said a mouthful there. So if anyone wants to comment on that, if you can relate to any of that, please do so.
And could you please share I know you said stress, the acronym. Could you please repeat and share with us again what each letter represents again, please?
Sure. Stolen time, relinquishing energy, spirit, and substance.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yapah, do you have anything else to add?
Actually, with stress, the breathing techniques would help.
Yes.
Breathing techniques for me helps in every situation. Breathing. Like even before the podcast started today, I had to just sit back, take some breaths, and meditate, because I woke up with a really scratchy throat this morning. I said, oh, no. We're going to get that gone. So that was like a little stressor for me this morning, because I wanted everything to go perfectly, But
Right. And just getting prepared for this event, just trying to figure out, what to say, what to cut down on, making sure the time, that's also stress. But it's a good stress because also we are wanting to bring this information to the audience to also help them relieve what we have been going through as well. Exactly. So moving on to our next topic, what are the symptoms of stress? So stress affects us holistically and individualistically. The way stress affects one person may not be the same for the next person. So stress affects us all in different ways. You may have anxiety, you may have depression, it may affect you emotionally. For me, emotionally causing fear and anger, mentally causing anxiety and depression, and we mentioned that earlier. Physically causing internal illness and body aches and pains. That was also something that I was experiencing. So I also ended up making sure that I was following up with doctor's appointments and because I knew something was not right.
Right.
And so I believe in a holistic approach. So you start from, the top down to the bottom. So you make all of your doctor's appointments and follow through. And so there's still a stigma on mental health. And so we want to make sure that that it's okay not to be okay, but also that you go and get the help that you need. There was a young lady, I found her on social media, and she had on a t-shirt and it said, "It's okay not to be okay." And I actually bought one of those t-shirts and I wear it. And when I wear it, I get stopped often from people that say, "Thank you, because I am not okay." But it's also a way to get people to talk. They may not want to talk to a therapist, but they find that you have a friendly face and, they may open up their whole lives to you.
Right.
But it's another way. When I'm not feeling okay that day, I put on that t-shirt. I'm not okay. So I'm not okay for this moment, but I will be okay.
Right.
But it reminds me that I have a right to be in that moment, but then I need to, get back on track.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I do the same thing, definitely.
Can anybody else relate to that?
Yes, and I think that's profound when you said, giving yourself permission to be okay, because so often we want to be superhuman to move on in denial, not realizing that the fact of that denial has become a weight that is slowing us down anyway, and then we may revert. I know when you're all talking, we find ways to deal with stress by begin to overeating. And then what that does, that intakes only compound more of our stress because we begin to eat unnecessary food just to cope with what we're going through.
Right.
Very true. Very true.
And so in an effort to be able to relieve stress, we must first find and identify that we are stressed. We must identify the stressor as well. So once the stressor is identified, we can try to find some of the following stress management suggestions. As Yapah has already mentioned, breathing. That is a good way to relieve stress, to relax, and sit back and assess what you're going through. Journaling. I have a lot of journals here that I have been writing in. I stopped in Walgreens one day and they actually had journals in the front of the store and they were on sale and I brought about 10 of them. Oh. So just to write out, how I'm feeling.
Right.
Take a walk, set a timer and take a nap. One of the things that I noticed during the day of work was that I used to walk around the building about 3 times a day just to go out and get some fresh air. But in the last year or so, I realized I had not been doing that because I was always on the go. And so I am now back to doing that as well. And I realized that that really helps during the day to kind of release some stress, even if you have to just walk away for 5 minutes and just pray or breathe. And so with the breathing, Yapah, I'd like for you to expound a little bit more on that, if you will.
Definitely. I came up with some acronyms for breathe. I'm letting some more people in. For breathe and B, bountiful, abundance. R, release, set free. E, embrace, acceptance. A, aware, eyes open. T, transform, change. H, harmony, peace. E, evolving, growth. So whenever I am sitting there and I'm feeling so much anxiety and stress, one moment, I have to let someone else in. Whenever I'm feeling any anxiety and stress, I think about that. I think about the breath work. And in each breath that I take and I release, I know that I'm releasing any anxiety, any stress, any tension that I'm feeling in that moment so that I can be good to handle the situation at hand. It's really important because, like I said, stress is a part of life and it can come at any time. Like breath work and meditation can help to deal with the stresses of life. It also allows you to cut through the stress so that it doesn't interfere with your health, with your energy, and your productivity.
Right.
So it's so important to do that. And can we just take a few seconds, everybody, and just close our eyes just for a few seconds? And just breathe like you normally would breathe right now. And anything that you're feeling inside, just release it. And we're going to breathe in and hold for 3 seconds, and then release and hold for 3 seconds. And we're just going to do that 2 times. So let's just breathe in, hold, release, hold. One more time, breathe in, hold, release, hold. And slowly open your eyes. And I tell you, that helps so much to just calm the mind and the body. It helps to put you into a relaxed state of mind to deal with whatever stress that you may be going through and having to deal with. You know, it only takes a few seconds to do that.
And you go into more detail in that in your with your breathing technique with your business as well. So, and I know you expound a little bit more on that. And I also have to remember that even though my ministry is for women, I don't negate the fact that men also go through stress. And as I said earlier, mental illness is still a stigma on mental illness and getting help, especially in the communities of color. But I encourage everyone, male or female, if you are dealing with stress or any other things that you just can't, you don't seem to shake off, or you're not able to get through it, if you can't talk to a trusted friend or counselor or coach or your pastor, make sure that there's a point where if you need help, go ahead and seek therapy or a coach or, someone that can help. I'm a life coach, and I don't mind hearing you on the other end of the phone, as long as I can help you, as long as you're able to talk it out and that helps you, I don't mind doing that. So, because I want to make sure that you're okay. As we stated earlier, it's okay not to be okay, but there's a point when, being not okay is not good for you.
Exactly. So do you want to tell them a little bit about your business?
Yes. So now how can we help moving forward from today. Like I said, I am a life coach. And so if you are needing additional information, you can go to my website at genesisrejuvenationcenter.org and schedule a free consultation. You will also want to get on my email list because I am rolling out a signature program called Healing from Brokenness that will be rolling out in the next month or two.
Okay.
So you will want to be on the email list for that. It'll be a 3-month program. And so we'll be rolling out more details on that soon. But the Healing from Brokenness is a long-running program that I have had over the last 4 or 5 years. It's geared towards women. And, we're all healing from something. Broken relationships, family issues, things like that. And as I said, I'm always wanting to help women move past obstacles in order to get on that journey of self-discovery.
Okay. Now, is it only strictly for women that you help?
It is strictly for women right now.
Okay.
I do plan on at some point having a session for men.
Okay.
But since my ministry is focused strictly on women, it's strictly for women at this point.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. I will make sure to have all of her information in the description of this podcast. And also, Yapah Judah, I also have a business and it's called Yapah Life. And I help others with breath work and meditation. So if you want a guided breath work meditation, reach out to your girl, yapahlife.com. And yeah.
And it's really good. I've been through it and it really works. It really helps to relieve stress and just put you in just a different mindset going through the breathing techniques.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. So we're not going to keep you too long, but if anyone had any questions before we let you go, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, we'd love to hear some feedback and see if this was helpful for you or any other feedback.
Well, I think you ladies did a wonderful job with your podcast today. And I did learn a lot. And I will, in the future for sure, make sure that I try different techniques to help me when I'm feeling overwhelmed or feeling stressed or just a high amount of anxiety in the moment. I've been the person that just kind of pushes it back and it's like, oh, I can deal with that later. I can do that later. I'm not worried about that right now. And also just wanting to be strong for my children so they don't see me in that state of mind of just like overwhelmness. But I think that this
I can relate.
I think that this podcast has answered a lot of questions, and I will make sure in the future to make sure I take steps in order to calm myself before I react or before I even speak sometimes. Because I have recognized that if I do let it kind of fester back there, one day, it can all just come out all at once. And you don't want it to happen that way because you don't know how it might come out or how it might affect whoever is receiving that in that moment. So I really thank y'all for this podcast. It did answer a lot of questions.
I
think y'all did a great job.
I'm glad it was a big help for you.
Yes, indeed. All praises. Anyone else?
Well, I definitely want to say that I enjoyed the information that was received. I wanted to add to the fact that on the breath work, one thing that has also helped me along with doing the breath work, because I teach my children how to breathe, because they, sometimes my older kids occasionally get anxiety, and I teach them how to breathe and how to work through that. But also letting them know that, and even for myself, anytime I have those episodes, and I'm telling myself, you know what, the anxiety, the, whatever I'm feeling that makes me feel sad or, upset or whatever, those are all just feelings, and feelings aren't permanent. They're temporary. So I know that during those moments, it's not going to last. So whenever I'm going through those, those episodes, I learn to tell myself, okay, this is not temporary. I know it's going to pass. It's going to pass. And I find something, either if it's not breath work, I journal. I keep a ton of journals as well.
All praises.
So
You could have been walking with me.
I go and I work out because, another way to get rid of anxiety, because from what I've researched, anxiety is just you trying to take control of something you don't have control of.
Right.
So I go and I work out just to kind of, get some of the whatever the anxiety, the energy off of me. And then, or I'm writing, because sometimes if I'm overthinking things, I need to just get it out on paper. Right. But I just kind of wanted to kind of add to that in case anyone else has any, issues with trying to, get over the anxiety or feeling stressed and stuff like that. Always let myself know that in those moments, those feelings are only temporary. They're not permanent.
Exactly.
So thank you all so much.
And you said another key stress reliever is exercising. And so, which was one of the things that I couldn't bring myself to do.
One moment before you continue. It's going to end in 10 minutes. So. Okay.
But yes, exercise and working out is a really good stress reliever. So thank you for mentioning that. And to those who are not exercising, even just a brisk walk can help.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to tear up all the exercise equipment.
Yes. Well, thank you again so much for attending the live broadcast of the podcast. This is season 2, episode 4, and I truly appreciate you all for being here. Oh my goodness, you have no idea. This truly brings joy to my heart and so much gratitude to you all. I love you so much. Again,
thank you all
this
for having
is Yapah Judah with Evolving with Yapah Judah. And again, I send love your way. La da 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 dum. La da 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 da. Talk to you guys soon. Peace and blessings. Bye everyone.
Bye.
All praises.